Okay, then next is the Zener diode, and the Zener diode we all know by now. This is the symbol, that symbol, the symbol, or this one. You must know by now that the Zener diode operate under reverse bias conditions. Okay, when it's reverse bias to operate, this is the characteristic curve that you know from N1. Zener knee, this is a reverse bias region. It will operate in that region. Then if you look at the properties of a Zener diode, properties, it's on page 76. If you look at it, well, a Zener diode can be operated in reverse as well as forward bias modes. However, you know that it's used mainly under reverse bias conditions. Why? Because in the reverse bias mode you get a constant voltage. Also when it's reverse bias, the Zener doesn't allow current to flow until only when the Zener breakdown point is reached. Know the characteristic curve, know the symbol, know a Zener diode, operate under reverse bias conditions. That's basically it for a Zener diode. Then go to a varactor diode. Varactor diode is basically a diode that acts as a capacitor, and when we speak about diodes, you know about the depletion region that forms part of the dielectric of the diode, the structure. Okay, so if you reverse bias this varactor diode, then you will increase that depletion region. So if you increase that reverse bias voltage, the depletion region will increase. Also, when you decrease the reverse bias voltage, you will narrow that depletion region. So it will increase and decrease the depletion region. Same as with the capacitor. So by making use of this effect, basically, this diode, and use it under reverse bias conditions, it will then basically act like a capacitor. Increase the reverse bias voltage will increase the depletion region, and decrease it will decrease the depletion region. If you look at this characteristic curve, capacitance and voltage, -2, -4, -6, -8, -10, capacitance 20, 40, 60, 80 picofarad. So if you look at any point here, if I have to look at this point, that will be 100. It's now not there, there it is now, 100 picofarad. Then my voltage would be -1 volt. Then if I look at this point, which is 20 picofarads, my voltage is -8. If I look at this point, which is approximately say 8 picofarad, my voltage is -16 volts. -1, so you have -1 volt, then you have 100 picofarad, then you have -8 volts, and you have 20 picofarads, then you have 8 picofarads, and you have -16 volt. So -8, -1, -8, -16, 100 picofarad. My capacitance is decreasing, voltage is also same effect, decreasing. There's a symbol like this or like this, anyone that suits you, just draw neat please. Then after this is the photodiode. What must you know for the photodiode? Construction is exactly the same as a PN diode, except that there is a lens inserted in the casing. And what does this do? It allows light to fall upon it, and then obviously under reverse bias conditions, it falls through that lens, falls upon the lens under reverse bias conditions, and then it will have an increasing effect on the leakage current. Will leakage current increase? Leakage current increase, diode becomes more conductive. Symbol, that's basically a photodiode, how it works. Then LED, you know already a LED, that's in one work, it is on your page 78. LED, I don't need to do this, I think everybody I think knows already now a LED. Well, you know, it's a diode, looks like that, symbol, circle, arrows. Okay, then we all know LED will operate forward bias. Then you also know energy in the form of light is given off. That's why it lights up. When it's forward bias, the diode conduct, gives energy off in the form of light, and it basically lights up. You know it's available in red, yellow, green, amber, blue. You also get dual color types. They're also available when forward bias. When it's forward bias, it produces one color, and then when it's reverse bias, it produces another color. Then LED, well, operating voltages can range from 1.2 to 1.7 volts, and with currents of 5 to 50 milliamps. Okay, that's a symbol, and your characteristic looks like that. Where this is your I current forward bias current, and that is voltage. If current after a while, current start to increase rapidly. Characteristic curve. All of that is on page 78. Okay, end of revision.